Hey, if somebody breaks into your house, wouldn't it be nice for a drone to be there in 30 seconds?
I'm your host, Joe Curt. Today, we're excited to welcome Curt Lary, CEO and co-founder of Hextronics, a global player in the autonomous drone infrastructure.
The drone lives inside of this box, and there is a robotic system inside that basically takes care of the drone to make sure it's always ready to launch.
What do you think separates a true autonomous system from something that is just remotely operated with a fancy name? Do you think we're getting closer to these zero-touch drone deployment systems that operate completely independent from human intervention?
I think that soon we will get to zero touch, zero own drone system. You don't even have a drone, you don't have a drone nest, you don't have anything.
Welcome to DroneCast, rethinking public safety one drone at a time. I'm your host, Joe Kearns. Today, we're excited to welcome Curt Lary, CEO and co-founder of Hextronics, a company that has become synonymous in innovation in the drone autonomy and docking solutions. Curt is a mechanical engineer by training and a visionary entrepreneur by nature. Since founding Hextronics, Curt has led the charge in developing cutting-edge autonomous docking solutions that swap drone batteries automatically, enabling true 24-hour operations. Under his leadership, Hextronics has evolved from a student-led startup to a global player in the autonomous drone infrastructure. With fielded systems in over 30 countries and clients ranging from public safety to agriculture to security, Curt's engineering mindset has helped bridge the gap between theoretical autonomy and operational reality. Today, we'll dive into Curt's journey from building robotic projects at Georgia Tech to leading to one of the most exciting companies in the drone industry. We'll explore the future of automation and autonomy and what it takes to build a resilient, scalable technology in this rapidly growing, evolving space. Welcome to the show, Curt.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Looking forward to it.
Well, Curt, it's always exciting to interview thought leaders and exciting individuals in this industry. But it's even more fun when I get to interview someone I consider a friend and someone that I've watched just grow in this whole industry. So it's really exciting, Curt. This is awesome.
Yep, good to see you at all the AVSIs once in a while, checking out some interesting events and places. I remember in Denver, we had a pretty good time.
Oh man, that was great. And constantly asked about our hair care routines and all of that. You, me, and FX. It was a good time.
Uh-huh.
We gotta give John McBride a run for his money. So
Can't be the only one.
can't be the only one. Well, good stuff. Well, Curt, you've taken a fascinating path from Georgia Tech engineer to CEO of Hextronics. What sparked your passion for drones and autonomous solutions?
Well, yeah, it sounds super intricate and exciting. And early on, it was just like I kind of had this decision in college that I wanted to build something exciting. And I started from small little gadgets of like a little pencil sheath that would hide in your wrist, like you were a pencil, like an Assassin's Creed blade, but for a pencil.
Wait a
And I
minute.
really,
What?
yeah.
That so the original docking station for Hextronics was actually inspired by Assassin's Creed. Oh man, I'm gonna hold
Well,
on to that one.
no, that's way back. But I mean, we have a history of innovation here with the founders of Hextronics. So I mean, I don't need to go too far back into all the little things, but I really just got into designing small little tools and products that just made people feel excited about the world. And I got into microelectronics. Got into making little robots that would actually deliver food in restaurants. So like at Georgia Tech, I made a little robot system that would actually like drive on the ceiling of a restaurant on some train tracks and then drop down the food or lower down the food right to like the top of your table. And then you take the food off the tray, it'd go up and then run back to the kitchen. And we actually installed all of this and it was running like 70 automatic deliveries within a couple of hours every day. And then COVID came and shut down my dream. Basically felt like it was shot in the heart, you know? So I had to go back to the drawing board. And one thing I thought that a pandemic couldn't really shut down. If we could shut down restaurants and gathering spots, well, it definitely can't shut down the sky. And so that's when I went into drones. And this is me not knowing too much about the FAA at the time. But yeah, so kind of just really had a passion for robotics, for making things in the world that move and inspire. And then just got into drone docking stations because I called around bunch of people in the drone industry, like flight software developers, service providers, and drone operators to see like what would make their operations more autonomous or more scalable. And they all said, "Oh, we use this one particular type of drone, and our systems are only as automatic as the person that has to come in and swap the battery." So they said, if you make a system that swaps the battery of this drone, at the time it was the Mavic 2, then we'll buy one. And I said, okay, be careful what you wish for. So I built one. I moved back home to Miami in my garage, and people started ordering them. We went live on a couple of different webinars, and really promoted the product, and we started getting orders from across the world. And eventually that product became deployed in over 26 countries. That was the global. And yeah, since then we continued to evolve and grow with new products, the Atlas and the Universal, and we're no longer just a bunch of high schoolers or college students in a garage, but we're a full-fledged manufacturing and design company right in the heart of Miami. So it's good to be here.
Absolutely love it, Curt. And yeah, you are a global player. Like you are influencing how things are moving forward, and some of the biggest players in the game. You're disruptive in a great way, and that's really awesome. I remember these early webinars you just mentioned too. I think I might have even been a part of one, but this is great. This is awesome. Well, now I know about this, but man, I would love for you to tell more to our audience here. Can you tell a bit more about maybe the first prototype of the Hextronics docking station? What did it look like, and how far has it gone from the design from the early to where it is now?
Yeah, so the first prototype was actually made out of like wooden planks, basically 2x4s and plywood I was building in my time in my apartment in Atlanta as I was like coming right out of school. And I went to Home Depot and got a bunch of 2x4s and plywood, and I actually drove them back on a bird scooter to my apartment. I shouldn't be alive. I should have died on the streets, but made it back to my apartment. Yeah, and my neighbors must have thought I was crazy because in my apartment I had an electric saw, I had a jigsaw, I had a bunch of screwdriver like drill bits and stuff, and I would drill. It was this kind of an abomination of like a 3-layer plywood structure that was supported on the sides by 2x4s. The drone would land on top, and then a little robot arm would actually grab a battery from a bay and bring it up and swap it with the aircraft. And of course, it didn't work 100%, but it at least was like step one, to go from 0 to 1. That was like, I don't know, 0.001 or something. And then the next designs, I have them all posted online, but like we went to a full like gantry system made out of 80/20, and then like sheets of aluminum that we screwed together on the sides with a big gantry up top that like would rotate its gripper to like interface with the drone. And then I wanted to make it smaller, so I ended up making a SCARA arm, so like a 4 degree of freedom robot arm that would actually have a camera on the tip of the gripper, and it would like precision land onto the drone, catch the drone, put it in a little pocket, like grip it down, swap the battery there, and then pick it back up and put it back on the landing pad. And then I continued. I needed to get simpler, so then we made only 3 degrees of freedom into kind of like a 3D printer type gantry and the nice pizza oven style door opening and closing. And we still haven't added the ding yet, but maybe soon. Like some people want a ding.
I would absolutely love that. Pizza's ready. Yeah, no, they're ready for takeoff. I remember you showing me some of these early photos of some of these like I wouldn't even say prototype, but like real full-fledged Hextronics boxes. And what like is it true that the idea is to make it simpler and simpler and simpler?
Yeah, you always want to make it as simple as possible, but no simpler. It does need to be able to do its function of either, yeah, swapping the battery or interfacing with the aircraft in some way. And the best way to make it reliable and last for tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of cycles, is by making it super simple. And we've got a ton of that experience under our belt of how to delete components that are unnecessary. The best component is no component.
Love that. I remember asking this to you in like one of the like first webinars too, but tell me about the name. What is Hextronics? Where do you get the name from?
Hextronics, yeah. So I don't know, we were tossing around a bunch of different names. No one needed to be something like a kind of a bee, because like bee drones are bees and kind of just has that ecological tie. And I was thinking for a while, I was like on the patio at home with my mom and dad, and I've been thinking about it for a really long time. And I just said, what about Hextronics? And I said, hold on, I know it sounds weird, but it kind of sounds like a little friendly. It sounds like hexagons are the bestagons. Hexagons make up, like, they're the building blocks of life, fundamental, like, connection, the way to tile as many different objects with the maximum surface area. It's like, I don't know, molecules. And hex, it's also kind of like a spell or almost like a curse. It's like you wave your wand, I've been hexed, you
You've
know?
been hexed.
And yeah, and then so it's like magic. And
Hex
then
swapping coming soon, like hex. Yeah, I love it.
And then tronics is like electronics, like reality. So the meaning kind of that we derive from hextronics at the end of the day is where magic meets reality.
Love it. That was well answered. Love that, Kurt. Now,
I
I
can
mean,
keep going.
yeah, hey, that's what we're here for today. So now, I know a lot of people here understand that Hextronics is a battery swapping drone, like autonomous drone box solution, and it goes further than that. But could you, you walked through a little bit about some of the first products. Could you talk a little bit more about how the system works and how it's a game changer for autonomous operations for those that don't know?
Yeah, sure. So what Hextronics makes is it's a little drone station. It looks kind of like either an air conditioning unit or kind of like a roof rack that you put on the top of a car. And what happens inside a drone resides. So a drone lives inside of this box, of this nest, and there is a robotic system inside that basically takes care of the drone to make sure it's always ready to launch and that it's safe within a variety of different environments. So inside the box, there's like a robot arm that swaps the battery, just like how you would as a person. And inside, there's also a small air conditioner that enables the drone to be kept at a very nice temperature. Most of the time, if you're in over 100 degrees Fahrenheit or below 40 degrees Fahrenheit, you're going to run into some problems over time with the batteries, just because batteries like to be treated well, and you do need to respect your batteries, or they'll overheat or just not last as long. And we really want to take care of those, so we've got a small little HVAC system in there. And then once the drone's ready to fly, the box opens up. So either like a pizza oven or like I don't know, like a raising pad. And from there, the drone sets its home point at that box location, and then goes performs a mission or enables you to essentially take control of the aircraft once it's at a certain altitude. So like takes off, goes to 10 feet up, and then says, "Okay, you've got the sticks now." So from your computer, from anywhere in the world, you essentially can log in and control it, like with WASD keys or with your keyboard, or you plug in a joystick like a Xbox or PlayStation controller, and you can fly the drone essentially from anywhere, as if you are that, as if you're pilot, just if you're a pilot sitting on the box, basically. And then once you've completed your mission, or the drone has completed all of the waypoints, it'll return back to the nest, precision land, and then once it's inside, it just goes back, and then we'll turn it off and swap its battery, so it's ready for the next mission. And the one key thing about Hextronics is we really look to get the most uptime out of the drones that we work with. So that's why we've prioritized battery swapping as one of our main features, because we enable the expensive aircraft or the very powerful payload that's within it to get maximally utilized. As well as if you're interfacing with, say, drones that have cellular, then you can actually use the nest to hop like from station to station to station with minimal downtime. And so, yeah, that's really why it's a game changer, as well as the platforms like our Atlas and Universal are really somewhat aircraft agnostic. So we do work with, say, the Mavics, We work with Parrot aircrafts. We work with things like the Matrice and a variety of other systems. We just launched one with the Modal AI chipset last week, actually, for warehouse inspection. And yeah, there's a lot more coming. So we're really excited to bring that level of autonomy to all of kind of the aircrafts that exist out there as like a portal to autonomy, you know?
Love it. No, that's well said, and I think you're really painting a picture to a lot of our audience on what drone in the box or drone autonomy solutions can be, and you're creating a solution to a lot of, like, a host of problems, right? And it's just expanding. I mean, even just the box swapping, like one drone leaving one box and going to the next, like that's already just a big concept. But for those that are thinking of just normal drone operations, I mean, you mentioned battery operations and so on, or care and such. I know as an old drone pilot back in oil and gas, having to jump out of the car, swap the battery, take a battery, put it in the top of the dashboard to get it heated up, put it in your armpit to get it warm, put it over. Like, it's just there's so many little steps, and just having this autonomy to even just do that step is just it is already so much better and adds more. The fatigue to the drone pilot is not already occurring by moving back and forth and putting yourself out in either very hot temperature or very cold temperatures. It's just, yeah, just love it. Good stuff. Now, you've really brought a true engineer's mindset to solving some of the hardest problems in drone infrastructure. What are some of the technologically largest and toughest challenges you and your team have overcome?
Sure. So I talked about one already. That was the air conditioning of the system. We really learned that in Miami. We were using a different type of cooling, thermoelectric, rather than compressor based, and we just really had to hunker down and put in the extra engineering hours to understand how compressor systems can really be built in the most compact form and reliable form factor to really operate over a long period of time and not cost a arm and a leg. So that was one thing, was understanding the compression cycle. And I did get a B in thermodynamics at Georgia Tech, but I'm sending back the designs to my professor, and hopefully he changes my grade. I think he'll be able to do that. But really over time, the most difficult problems have really come down to just either replacing, like understanding how to make components not have to be replaced over a certain number of cycles. Like we've got drone stations right now with hundreds of thousands of swapping cycles. And you really have to learn a lot in order to get there, right? Like what materials to use, what ways to design components in order to not wear as much, as well as actually picking the wires that go inside of the components that have to move. Because if you get the wrong wires, they're going to work great for like the first 50,000 cycles, but then at 50,001, they're going to have some short somewhere, or you're going to have a discontinuity, and you're going to trigger a chain of events that eventually makes the system go into an error state. And so really honing in on all of those small little details is how we're able to get that kind of engineer's mindset to supreme longevity as the maximum priority.
Nice. Now, you're kind of answering this already, but you've scaled from a concept to field at deployments around the world globally. If there's a key lesson you've learned about building hardware in the drone industry, what would it be?
I think it's kind of like you can see a lot of this from FPV pilots. And really, what you see is that people care about what works. People care about what's like, they definitely prioritize functionality, and they also prioritize actually having the thing in their hands. Sure, the thing can look cool, look amazing, but if it's way out of budget or nearly impossible to get a hold of because it's always out of stock, then like I'm gonna go with the thing that I know that I can buy a bunch of and just work. And I'm not sure if that's my mindset on the engineering front, but it's kind of from the philosophy of Hextronics, is just, look, here's things that are available today. What's one gap that we can fill that would really unlock a lot of scale for the rest of the industry? right? So we attacked it initially through going with software partners and drone hardware manufacturers, kind of making that missing little link in the chain that was that drone station. And we continue to do this for all of the drone manufacturers that are coming about, that really focus on the aircraft and enable their system to be automated by like a drone in a box like us, in order for us to really make a system with the most kind of, I wouldn't say cost effective, but just the most efficient means of getting the best product. And that's kind of been our philosophy of looking for what gaps we can fill to complete the whole solution with kind of the best components of the puzzle.
Well said, Kurt. Now let's dive into some other concepts here. What are some of the most exciting and unexpected use cases you've seen with the Hextronic stocks, whether it's in public safety, architecture, or beyond? Now, I'll also pose this. I know there's something that delivery with caviar and so on that I'd love to throw in the mix too.
Mm-hmm. Delivering caviar. Well, one use case we had, I don't know if we ever fully deployed it with them, but they were looking to use automatic drones to actually fertilize plants in a big it was marijuana farms actually. They were trying to like fly the drone low enough to populate the plants so that they'd be able to grow, like pollinate them. But they found out that the drone didn't necessarily have the right amount of thrust to do so, or they went another direction. Let's see, another use case that's pretty interesting is in some places near mines. This is actually is I love this use case, but it's super interesting to me. So in some locations near mines or near locations where kind of like a body of water might get contaminated, there's people stationed at these like public parks or these reserves that are like, their main job is to fly a drone every day to keep the birds off the lake, because if the birds are on the lake for too long, they catch some disease, or they get damaged in some way. So they literally have to fly the drone almost 24/7 just to scare off the birds. So yeah, that's an interesting use case that I never expected, but I mean, one that a drone in a box with battery swapping can definitely help out with a lot. Um, and yeah, I
I
mean,
just see
there's
that as like a sub direction on your website, like bird scaring or bird
yeah,
mitigation. Yeah, I
yeah,
love it.
public safety, construction, bird scaring, oil and gas.
Love it. Hey, again, I mean, this is the thing of this industry is there's so many aha moments and these all these different little moments where we're like, I could use a drone. Oh my goodness, a drone can do this, or this makes my life easier, or it's safer, or all these little things. And whether it is scaring away birds, it's still an awesome use case.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one that I think you don't want to just be having a manned aircraft do this all day. That'd be someone's full-time job, is just scaring away birds, or like, I don't know, little turrets with salt on them, but it's a big lake, so that'd be pretty hard. So yeah, I think drones are a good way to go.
Nice. Awesome. Did this Miami delivery thing ever take off?
The like what we did a little trial with Chick-fil-A one time. Where so yeah, we had this one product for a little bit called the Hex Cargo. We might bring it back, I'm not sure. But it would mount on the bottom of like the M350, and it would enable for this concept that we were putting together that was called like distributed like drone delivery in a box, basically. So if you've got a big drone box that has a winch on it that can go up and down and raise and lower, then theoretically you could leave from the drone station, go to like a restaurant or something, hover at like 50 feet, lower the winch down at the pickup area, load the like Chick-fil-A guy comes and loads the package, says it's my pleasure, and that
Yeah, what would
raises up
happen there?
the,
Because when it delivers, it would need to say "my pleasure." I wonder if there's like a handwritten
yeah,
note
they would probably put a
by
sticker on the
Chick-fil-A.
bag. Yeah, a
Yeah.
little microphone speaker that just says "My pleasure." And then it could go and take that and deliver it anywhere, like in a 2-mile radius, and then come back to the drone station and be ready for the next one. I really kind of think that's the way to do it, just because that's the way that you can do drone delivery with existing infrastructure without having to change as many things. So I think it's super scalable. But we'll see. Might bring back Hex Cargo one day.
I love it. Well, let me know. I'll be there. I'll be there for spicy chicken deluxe and delivery with Chick-fil-A sauce. It sounds amazing. Well, excellent. Now, in terms of autonomy, what do you think separates a true autonomous system from something that is just remotely operated with a fancy name?
So a lot of that does come down really to the nitty gritty of if you're allowed to, right? Because we can do any day we can do launch from the drone station, go and fly across the waypoints, capture images, say like to make a 3D model or something, and then return back to the box, land and swap the battery. That's done right now. So technically it's there. We've got it. And we're doing that in some locations where the BV loss or the FAA is not as critical. So really what it comes down to is how we get to that complete full autonomy where nobody's on the sticks, basically completely AFK from the computer. Drone is just doing the thing every day without anybody supervising it, and that data just kind of lands in the palm of your hand whenever you ask for it. I think what's going to happen there is we need to check a bit more boxes for the FAA, and we're working with them right now to do so. So basically, you need that fully automatic pre-flight inspection of the aircraft, right? You need to take pictures of the props. You need to do some machine learning or something to analyze the props are in good health, aircraft is in good health, and essentially you do the pre-flight inspection to the same level, if not better, than an operator that would be on site, right? And then you need some method of maintaining either visual line of sight to the aircraft, line of sight understanding of the airspace around where you're flying, or just the ability to know that you're flying so close to some objects that if there should be no manned aircraft there reasonably, that could be troublesome to the operation. And then you also need some pretty good onboard obstacle avoidance sensors and algorithms in the aircraft. And then kind of building the ConOps that ties all of those systems together to apply to a variety of use cases is kind of like what we're building now to enable that easy button, one click, just hey, fly this every day 7 a.m. to like 10 a.m. and then give me that video recording or send me alert if there's anything crazy happening here. Then we can just feel wholeheartedly that every part of that mission, the mission waypoints, the pre-flight inspection, post-flight inspection, all of that is done to a level of autonomy that then enables the FAA to say that, hey, if there's green lights at every step of the line, then you've got a fully automated mission that's certified by the FAA. And like initially, it'll be something that doesn't really scale as well, but as systems get developed to basically handle all of the if-else like cases, then it will be like it'll be so easy. It'll be so easy to do this.
It's almost there, right?
Dude, we're
Almost
always
there.
getting close to it. The singularity.
I love it. All right, so big buzzword right now, and love to talk with you about it. But DFR, drone as first responder, what role do you see drone in the box systems playing in the broader spectrum of drone as first responder, and how does Hextronics play a role there?
So kind of the broader uh landscape. Yeah, I mean, the key thing behind why we think our systems are so good for DFR is because of that battery swapping capability that enables the drone to have such a significant level of uptime. And yeah, obviously you can just get like 2 or 3 of another drone station, have them scattered about to then have similar total uptime. But that's just competing against one Hextronics nest.
Well,
And
let's
obviously
expand
for
on
all the
that. So, right, like Hextronics is battery swapping, and then there's
yeah.
the other like equation is a charging of the drone once it lands, like
Hmm.
conductive charging, correct? So
Yeah.
if it's conductive charging, that means that bird is grounded until the battery is fully recharged, and then it can take off. So the redundancy is not having one box with battery swapping like yours is. It would be having three of them. That sounds like a lot.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot, but it's definitely still an option, right? It's always options. And what we definitely think that the aircraft's pretty valuable. So I mean, using a pretty high quality aircraft three times versus one time, just a cost differential, kind of at the end of the day, as well as a complexity uh problem, because if you have three of them too close together, you need to make sure that their flight paths don't intersect in any way, but they're probably good enough to be able to avoid that. But yeah, in the broader scale, having just Hextronics being able to enable all these different aircraft with different payloads that are constantly evolving kind of enables us to always be at the forefront of working with the best aircrafts out there, as well as enable the end customer to always know that their favorite aircraft, at least the most powerful ones, will be supported by a group that really prioritizes uptime of that aircraft. And yeah, I think there's a million different ways DFR can go. I think definitely communities are getting a lot more accepting of the idea, now that they know that like the drone's not just like scanning their roofs without their notice and looking at new expansions they've done on their property and telling that to the IRS. That's just, I feel like, what a lot of people are worried about. But it's just like, hey, if somebody breaks in your house, wouldn't it be nice for that drone to be there in 30 seconds? Yeah, that'd be kind of nice. It'd make you feel, it'd make bad guys not want to be bad guys. So
In the CFR world, a lot of public safety agencies are being very transparent and having like online portals. So it's almost gaining more trust in a way instead of yeah, spying and looking in a window or seeing yeah, it's just, yeah, it's a lot of education still, but it's starting to turn towards actually using this often.
and I feel like communities eventually are going to want more. They're gonna be like, well, there's not always an emergency happening. Why don't we get more use out of these drones? How about we scan all of the roads and tell the government that, hey, you haven't filled this pothole in 6 months. What's going on? Or like, hey, I want some landscaping done along the interstate. Who's working on this?
DFR pothole explore. I
Yeah, well, I
mean,
want like communities to be able to feel like they have power to tell the people running the cities, I want a better world. We can make the world better here, 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 here. Please do it. Like, you're taking my money for taxes anyways.
yep,
Go make my life better.
true. Potholes, optics, always. Now, scaling globally has been no small feat. What has international expansion taught you and Hextronics about different markets and need for autonomous drone solutions?
Yeah, this is, I mean, the across the world things are pretty big. It's a pretty big world. And a lot of people like, it's the FAA is one thing, but then the FAA in Africa, the FAA in Malaysia, in Japan, in Thailand, in Europe, there's a variety of different standards that we do need to understand and conceptualize as we add our component to this big puzzle of things that's going on. And so a lot to understand is really kind of the requirements that are needed for all of these different groups, and also what information is required at the end of the day when it comes to either like, yeah, data security, when it comes to just the flight mechanics of the aircraft and the termination system. So like, there's some groups across the world that require a different level of, say, like, reliability, or just different level of kind of protection in the case of an aircraft malfunction, kind of having a parachute system or not, basically varying how that parachute system is triggered. There's a whole bunch of different little nuances that really need to be uncovered and solved for each of these uh, different different regulatory bodies across the world. But I think everybody is harmonizing and syncing up on ways that's really going to enable scale most products anywhere. And I'm really excited about that.
Nice. Now, you've mentioned a lot. You've already mentioned this a couple times, and I just want to ask a little bit more. Now, you've partnered with many different hardware manufacturers in the drone space. How do you approach these collaborations from a product integration and business standpoint?
Sure. Yeah. So I mean, of course, starting off, I was a kid in an apartment in a garage, banging on the door of DJI, and so they didn't really care too much getting started, and I kind of just said, okay, I'm just gonna be a person. Like I'm gonna make a robot version of me that does interfaces with the drone and basically pretends that it's a person. And that's how we really started off. And that's kind of the baseline because a lot of the times, either aircraft manufacturers, if they're kind of too caught up in a variety of other things in the world or a variety of other kind of customer requirements, then if it's our job to integrate with them, then we really need to find the best way to interface with the drone, whether that's clicking a button on the battery in a weird way, or developing a different kind of mechanism to grab the battery or and swap it out, or just a different method to actually charge the batteries and interface with those batteries when they're in the nest. All of that comes down to, yeah, engineering time. And so then from a business standpoint, really the way that we're committed to building a new kind of version of a drone station is we somebody wants it. You know, somebody buys it and says, I want like 10 of these, I want 20 of these, make this integration happen, and I'll buy them. So that's really what kicks it off for us, because we could be running in a million different directions, integrating with all of the drones in the industry and make it our kind of mission. But really, the only way that we're sustainable as an organization that can keep making these products is by finding the best products to integrate with, the best aircraft, and then delivering on that with kind of everything that we've got. And yeah, that's how we handle it.
Excellent. Now, I've seen I've seen the struggles that you've had to work through too, and it's not struggles. I'm sure you look at this as like a fun way to find a new solution and such. But when a new and DJI aircraft, like you starting with the Mavic 2, it's like one arm battery on top, and then it was like, nope, we're gonna do a like a sheath magazine slide in, and I remember every time I see a new product, I'm like, how is Kurt gonna come up with this? This is I always think about that, and you not only come up with it, you create something that can be used over and over and over and over and over and over again, and is successful. So I applaud you and your team.
Yeah, a lot of it is the team, really, that does this. Sometimes I'll have an idea that's completely wrong, and the team will try it and it'll be like, Kurt, you're an idiot. We need to do it. We need to do it this way. Or sometimes they're like, sometimes the team's like so caught up in one little problem that it does take kind of like a third eye, or like third party perspective, to be just like, hey, what if we did it like this, and scrap the other thing, and it works out. And so it is really a collaboratory effort with the engineers and technicians that I work with every day, and I love them.
Now, in public safety, reliability is everything. What kinds of feedback do you get from agencies using Hextronic stations in the field?
Yeah, so especially public safety is a group, at least, that requires that level of autonomy to be the highest reliability, because whatever it is, we could be responding to 911 calls, right? Every one of these is a response to a 911 call. So when the drone needs to be ready to launch, it needs to be ready. So of course, any small detail or issue, or if the battery was at like 70% rather than 80% or something that restricts flight time, all of that is a critical issue that, yeah, we definitely comes back to us to hear about it. And a lot of what we've been able to do with our systems to handle and really understand the root cause of any of this feedback is we've got some of the most intricate, like, logging and reporting that just feeds right back to us at Hex. And we've got, like, literally, we've got a room full of guys that are just like looking at monitors of like logs that come down. It's like, okay, it's like, is everything's good, everything's good, everything's good, everything's good. And then one little thing happens, they log in, they operate it as if like we have what's called Game Boy mode. So you can operate the robot arm inside of it as if you're like playing Tetris, or I guess like the claw machine basically.
Oh,
And
where
so,
do I enter this and subscribe? I wanna do Game Boy mode and
oh well,
Xtronics
you just
boxes.
buy one of the
Oh,
drone stations.
got it. On it.
And then and then yeah, it's just in like the advanced section of the control panel. And from there we've got like all the capability to restart basically every little system inside of the station. We know if it like if it squeaks, like seriously, we've got so much feedback that goes into like we have like a super brain that just eats all of the logs. And yeah, the only way that we're able to iterate and solve problems as quickly as we are for anything that comes up in the field for groups like first responders is because we have that infrastructure that enables us to always have basically our eye on the ball.
That was well said, Kurt. Now, looking ahead, what innovations are on your personal radar, and what do you think could dramatically impact the future of autonomous drone?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of drone integrations we're doing right now that I'm incredibly excited about. And I don't know if I can talk about them too much live here, but they're definitely going to be influential when it comes to the
I want
DFR
the answers,
space.
Kurt. Tell me it now. No, I'm kidding. No, that's that's what this is all about. Keep the mystery going a little bit. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and kind of opening up a lot more of our stations to developers and builders, like how like the new integration we did with Modal AI. I really think that that chipset is pretty powerful. So we'll probably be doing something about it where we've integrated with the Hellbender. Hellbender made a little drone that actually uses like a battery that almost looks exactly like the Mavic 3 battery. So like fit perfectly in our station, and it's pretty cool. It's got a bunch of great cameras. I wouldn't say it's the most best drone for like DFR or outdoor use cases, but it's a great drone to develop on, especially when kind of people understand why the Qualcomm chipset is going to be so valuable in just drones moving forward in general. So yeah, I guess those are some personal stuff. Of course, we just broke into a new warehouse at Hextronics. We tore through the wall over Christmas break, and so now we're at 10,000 square feet. So there's a lot that we're doing on the kind of production floor side of things to really just beef up our industrial look and feel, as well as the processes of operations that comes with manufacturing kind of complex electromechanical systems as we do. And so that's a big focus for us right now that I'm super excited for. And I really think ironing that out helps us innovate at a much quicker pace. And so I'm excited for where we'll be in the next couple of months.
Awesome. I love it. Well, everyone, keep your ears and eyes available because big things are happening with Hex. Well, good stuff. Now, do you think we're getting closer to these zero touch drone deployment systems that operate completely independent from human intervention?
I think that soon we will get to yeah, zero touch, zero own drone system where like you don't even have a drone, you don't have a drone nest, you don't have anything. You just say, I want to fly a drone today, and you boot up your iPhone and you log into the nearest drone station closest to you. You fly, you capture a cool video of your house, you've recorded a screenplay or a movie that you're working on, and you can kind of harness the capability of a distributed network drone in a box systems all across the world, and really kind of either get them to provide a service to some customer, right? Inspect some train tracks or railroads, apply algorithms, and really there's zero burden on you, the operator, of actually having the drone, managing it, like making sure, yeah, batteries are charged, making sure you have reception, making sure you have airspace authority. All of that would kind of be covered in a super system. Of course, one day somebody has to build it. So I think we're all working together to make this. So I'm super excited about that. And I mean,
Well, if
I'm
someone
still
can
gonna
do
have,
it, I believe in you, Kurt.
yeah, I think drone industry's been waiting for this for a while, and I think we're gonna stop at nothing to build it together. So I'm excited, and yeah, I'll always have a little FPV Cine Whoop or something, just to fly around and have fun with. You're not taking that from me.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's we look in the car industry, right? And now it's I always joke with people where I'm like, your next car that you're gonna own, you probably won't drive, and it's just gonna drive for you, or so on. And then but then where's that joy of driving gonna be? And where's the joy? And that would be like, well, then you have a track that you can go to, and you have a track car to enjoy that. And it's kind of what I see the drone industry also going into as well. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Now, with all the regulatory buzz around BB loss and drone autonomy, what are you the most excited or cautious about in the next few years?
Definitely cautious. I don't want to step on any toes or get too many slaps on the wrist from the FAA for breaking rules. I definitely want to figure out the best way to design our concept of operations with any kind of Hextronics deployments that ensure that we're completely operating within the scope of the waivers that we have. I'm really excited about kind of the speed at which some waivers are getting approved now that kind of have been through the process before. And one thing I'm kind of curious about is Part 108. I hear whispers in the wind. I don't know what's going on. It'd be nice if there was like a test that was built primarily for drone operators that didn't have you learning like signal charts from aircraft back in the 70s.
I mean,
So
we say
I'm
that, but
excited
I
for
will say
that.
that was something very interesting, right? Was like Part 107 doing that, and you're like, oh, now I know what this upside down wedding cake is. Oh my goodness, I never thought I would know this kind of stuff. It's another filter, right? But truth, it's not like, you're not getting a driver's license so you can drive a school bus or a big rig. You just operate a vehicle, so very particular to the use case of what you're after. So I agree with the 108. If, 108, the whispers that are happening. So we'll see. Excellent. Well, Kurt, this has been such a great conversation, and I know even when the button stops and when we're not recording, we're probably going to continue talking, and maybe we'll have to do another episode here. But I've got a couple questions here to close this up with you. So I know you've already accomplished so much with Hextronics. What's next on your radar? Any big projects, innovations in the work that you're really excited about? Or can you talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, I always have like dreams about crazy stuff that I want to build one day, and those dreams I'm not gonna like. They keep me awake, so that's what I'm just gonna keep kind of thinking about over time. Like I wanna one day build like a particle accelerator that injects palladium with hydrogen ions to make kind of superconducting room temperature palladium. Just so we can make Yeah, casually, so we can make like a little SMES or like a superconducting magnetic energy storage system to kind of take the place of batteries, primarily because when people come to Xtronics and they're like, yeah, you think like battery swapping's so cool, then what happens when the battery like charge in a couple minutes and don't need to be swapped? I need to be able to say like, look, we're working on like we have ideas about the
I'm building a
craziest battery
particle
ever.
accelerator. Chill out. Yeah.
I'm working
I
on
don't
the
have enough
particle
room.
accelerator, okay?
I love it.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, I love asking this question. And I've gotten some great response on this. But if there was a collaboration that you could do with Hextronics and another company that is not in our industry, who would it be, and what would that be? I I I remember I asked Adam Bilmes of Inspired Flight this one, and he was like, it'd be awesome to do it with like John Deere or something like that. Like what an interesting concept and so on. Like I see like
John Deere's actually pretty close, and I've seen like they're thinking about drones. Definitely, John Deere's thinking about drones. But yeah, I'd say I don't know, like a cool like music artist, like having drones for a epic, like having automatic drones last over the course kind of an entire concert or musical event, or some way to get kind of drones to be more a part of society and have people kind of just like enjoying them. So I mean like a cool concert with like Fred again. I'm just a Fred again. I listen to that guy way too much. But yeah, something concert related or just event related.
we'll have to talk about this offline. But I flew his drone or his concert, did all of his work.
What?
Yep.
All
So
right. You're gonna have
Yeah.
to send me the clips, man.
Yep. But really though, right? Like what if, like drone shows are, awesome and so on. They're still more expensive than fireworks. It's still but they're still just so awesome, right? But what if like they all come together to create a Megatron, right? Because of their small pixels flying in the air. But there's so many little things that we could do with this, right?
Yeah, be like I always think about it like Harry Potter, you know, how during one of the big Quidditch matches, I
Yes,
think on
exactly.
like
The World
Goblet of
Cup or
Fire.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, the big Quidditch tournament, and they had like the little leprechauns dancing. That was
Yes,
basically made out of a bunch of drones. I want to
exactly.
see that.
We're not far off, and it's up to you to make it, Kurt. No.
All right, easy
Well,
work.
good stuff. Well, finally, for our listeners that want to follow you, connect with Hextronics, where should they go?
You could go to hextronics.com. You can go to our website. You check out the news, see what we're working on. We always have like a little update in there of some of the recent things. You can find us on LinkedIn or Twitter. You can check me on my Twitter, or if you want to see some pictures of like early Hextronics, I've got those all over my Instagram of like me in the cave with like really crazy hair. Can't say it's crazier than this, but it was pretty crazy. That's where I keep all kind of like the historical pictures of Hex. It's on my Instagram. So yeah, it's Curt Lary on Twitter, and then Hextronics, just everywhere else.
Awesome. Well, Kurt, hey, thanks again for taking the time to join Dronecast and share your incredible story, your insights, and your just wealth of knowledge. I just thank you so much for joining us today, and to everyone out there listening, we'll see you next time. Take care.
Take care.